Have you ever wondered, if God were to take your life today, how would you respond? How would you face it? Each person might have a different answer, but most of us avoid this question. However, I was once forced to confront it, not in thought or theory, but in a real-life situation when my very existence was tested during the COVID-19 pandemic. It was late July 2021, and the entire country was in strict lockdown due to COVID-19. I started feeling feverish. At first, I dismissed it as a mild fever that would pass quickly, but it didn't. For nearly a week, my fever only worsened. I had relentless coughing, struggled to breathe, and endured sleepless nights. Then I lost my sense of taste and smell the telltale signs of COVID-19. I asked my sister to buy a test kit. Though I tried to mentally prepare myself, deep down, I still hoped for a negative result. I kept finding reasons to convince myself that I couldn't possibly be infected. But when I saw those two red lines appear, I froze. It felt like a massive weight had crushed my entire body. My mind dissolved like water. At that time, I hadn't been vaccinated, and the Delta variant was ravaging communities. Every day, the news was filled with tragic stories. The sound of ambulance sirens never ceased. My condition worsened, and for the first time in my life, I faced my deepest fear, the fear of death. I had known fear before: fear of being scolded as a child, fear of failure as an adult, fear of an uncertain future. But I had never experienced the fear of death. It was not just the fear of pain or loss, but the terror of facing something entirely beyond my control. I asked myself, if God were to take my life right now, where would I go? Have I truly received salvation? Will my sins, those I still regret, be forgiven? These thoughts haunted me. I realized that I was not ready for the one thing that no one can escape: death. At that moment, I turned to God's word more than ever before. Many people called and texted me with encouragement, but at night, an overwhelming emptiness crept in. I lay alone in my small room, each breath becoming a struggle. The fragility of life had never been clearer. This loneliness wasn't just about the absence of people. It was the realization that there are moments in life that no one can go through with you. If this was the time God was calling me home, I would have to go alone. Show me, Lord, my life's end and the number of my days. Let me know how fleeting my life is. You have made my days a mere handbreadth. The span of my years is as nothing before you. Everyone is but a breath, even those who seem secure. I had nothing left but complete dependence on God. These words felt like a refreshing stream pouring into my soul. I opened my Bible and read Psalm 91. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust. I wept. God's word was no longer just distant verses. It became a living promise. I knew He was with me. 2. He is the faithful God. During my sickness, I saw how God cared for me in miraculous ways. My siblings supported me. Friends helped in every way they could. And despite my severe condition, I recovered in a way that felt nothing short of divine. When I was fully healed, I knew it was not mere luck. It was evidence of His love and faithfulness. Looking back, I see that this trial was not meant to destroy me, but to refine me. I now understand life's fragility more deeply, but even more so, I recognize that God is the one who holds everything. I've learned to live each day with eternity in mind, not just focusing on this temporary world, but preparing for what lasts forever. If today were my last day on earth, I would no longer be afraid. I know I belong to Him. And if God allows me to continue living, I want to live fully for Him. What about you? Are you ready for the day God calls you home? Are you merely existing, or are you living for an eternal purpose? Let this trial be an opportunity to draw closer to the one who holds your life in His hands.